allow them to host this mountain race in our territory. And so beginning today, there is lockdown, complete, total lockdown. Now we have learned that they are bringing in their military to come and run the race. So they can now go out and say they had a race indeed. They had a successful race. Anybody from that mountain top down to Tico that is seen out on the streets tomorrow, you go there, you step out at your own very, very risk. We will not allow La République du Cameroon organizing any event, any public event in our territory. It will take a fight. Again, it will take a fight for them to do so. Thank you. Please go ahead and hit your share button. No mountain race. They can raise their flags. They can promote it. No problem. It's not our money. It's their money. And we are warning every organization, be you MTN, be you Nexter, be whatever company, sponsoring this event. I think a name was mentioned yesterday. Let's take note. Those of us on ground zero who are implementing these instructions, let's take note. Any company, any business, any organization sponsoring this mountain race, if anybody should climb that mountain tomorrow, they should have to pay. Yes, they should have to pay. Because they cannot be killing our parents and killing our family members, and somebody is busy sponsoring the killers to come and organize a public event within us in our territory. So any business, any company sponsoring that mountain race, please let's take note of them and pay them just the way they want at the end of the day. So again, this mountain race must be brought to zero. Thank you. I see Elisa Channel. I got this. Thank you. Thank you, Elisa. I see Kukuda Blinks, my able undersecretary. I see. Say, where are you, FACO people? Absolutely. This is a challenge to every FACO man and woman and young man, young girl out there in FACO. If this mountain race should take place, something is wrong. We are challenging every one of you to join our restoration forces to stop that cacophony of a mountain race, that mockery of a mountain race. Desmond Elliott, I see you, sir. Mume Ndaga, you're always here. As I see you. He says a Pasamoto is ready to attack them. Okay. E.P.A. Brian, I see you. D. Eyango, thank you for joining. Luanga Enjoyer, thank you. Eboka Zama, thank you. Benche, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have about 4 minutes to go for me to bring you this very, very important broadcast. Go ahead and hit your share button as you join, please. Thank you for all the love. Thank you. Mike Imbrata, I see you. You can be nicer, okay? I see also Afu, thank you for joining. Asana Timothy, I see you. Say, that is the spirit, Mr. Anu. Thank you, sir. I see Seba Imba. I see also Presi watching. Kamas Warifangaza. Very difficult last name there, but I guess I got it. Thank you. Magdalene Doe, always on this platform and praising me. Alan, you are my favorite fan out there in St. Paul, Minnesota. Magdalene, thank you very much. God bless you. I see also Fonyo Diodone. Good evening, bro, he says. Thank you, sir. And Address Addison, thank you for joining. In the David, thank you, sir. I love you. Chris, he says. Is this the David that I know or a different one? All right. Ngancha Divine. Thank you, Divine, for joining from London. I guess, yes. Martin Ashu, I see you. Michael Peace. Thank you for joining. I see also Same Gibbet. Thank you. At Gafu, always ever here on this platform. Ladies and gentlemen, the figures are slowing to rise now. There should be at least 1,000 by now. But again, I have 3 minutes before I go live with this presentation. So please keep on hitting the share button. Keep on hitting that share button. Let's populate the platform so I can come to you with this very, very special presentation. I have a very, very, very important alert, security alert, that I will be bringing to you at the end, at the very end of this presentation. It is very, very important, especially for those who are planning to be in Philadelphia. This is very, very critical. Okay, again, I will be bringing that information to you at the end of the presentation. Hit your share button. And if you are joining from ground zero, especially Biya, our federal capital, let me know, please. I see Christian, Ambalanda Nzile, Linge Sidiki, Samuel Siyuf, watching from Brussels. Okay. Christian Fosi said, we are steadfast on Butu. Okay. Desmond Elliott is always here. Nelbok Steve, always here. Thank you, sir. Chair Leslie, I see you. Please hit the share button as you join. Within the next 3 minutes, I will be coming to you with a live presentation that you will love. You will love. All right. Liz Generous, I see you, man. Say no mountain race. Hashtag, let's emulate Liz here. Everybody hashtag no mountain race. Hashtag no mountain race. At least not that organized by La République du Cameroon. We are waiting for the day we take over our territory, our capital, and organize our own mountain race and call it Liberty Mountain Race. They call it a race of hope today when there is no hope. When we restore our country in our capital and everybody has hope, we shall then re-Christian it. There and then we can conduct a mountain race. Hit the share button, ladies and gentlemen. I see Dash White Ambazonia. Thank you for joining. I see everybody hashtag no mountain race in Ambazonia. Not that which is organized by French Cameroon. Telam Frederick Inking, I see you, sir. I see you. Say no crazy mountain race. You are very correct. Dovala Banji, I see you. I see also Sheila Mush. Oh, come on, Sheila, your last name is so tough. I can never pronounce it. It has no vowels. All right. Mola Likanga in them. I see you, sir. I see Amber Sirius. No mountain race. Pierre Brian, I mentioned your name before. No mountain race. Chale Chalan. I see you, sir. I see you, sir. I see you, sir. Unfortunately, you are fighting a lost fight. I see also Anum Muked, always on the platform. Joku Timi. Yes, the numbers are rising. 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes until I come to you with a live presentation. Paul Asandak, no race in Manfago. Let them go do it. Yes, absolutely. John Inco, no mountain race in Ambazonia. Jute Are Mangwa is watching. Same Gibet APR. I see you, sir. Mazami Tanji. I see you. I see also McCree James. I see you, sir. Thank you for the compliments. Redemption Son. APA, I mentioned APA. Sargento Benz, thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. He said, Papa, go. We are with you. Thank you for the compliment. Julius Ambe, thank you. Nkengim David, thank you for joining. Alexandro Lidasman, I always call your name every time I am here. You are one of those fortunate ones I always see your name. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You are doing a fabulous job. In 2 minutes, I'm coming to you. Keep on hitting that share button. Do not relent. And unto everybody on WhatsApp know, I am here right now. And of course, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook groups. Let them know I am not just live, but alive. And the enemy can go and pull his head. There's nothing they can do. I am here. All right. Eboka Zama, thank you. African King, thank you for joining, sir. Basi Indi, good to see you. Patriotic Ambazonian, he says, we need accountability from the AP about my trip to Biya. You will get that. You will get that. You have been talking about this for long. You are worrying yourself for nothing, sir. Okay? I see also Nzongo Alino. Thank you for your love. I see also Anne in there. Okay, Anne, it's great to see you joining from Belgium. I see Ingum Genevieve. He says, Scammers, bring back my trip to Biya. Well, I hope you paid money into it, and I hope you are not a scammer yourself. Okay, Emilia Gabi, good to see you. Jude Are Mangwa, thank you for joining. Please go ahead, hit that share button. 2 minutes to go. Nelly Bess, yes, you are here. Nat, good to see you. Good to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and continue to hit the share button. In about a minute, I shall be coming to you with this presentation proper. Again, this is very, very, very crucial, very, very important. I have a very important or critical alert that I will be presenting or bringing to you at the end of this broadcast. So go ahead and please keep on hitting the share button. Now, before I come there, before I get to the broadcast proper, I want to appreciate all of you out there who have contributed to save ABC, your own television, from the mist. Because we know there have been a concerted effort from within and without to bring down your own television station. But lots of you gave me phone calls and you said, Secretary Chris, that is not going to happen. That will not happen. Some of you gave $50, some gave $100, some gave $150, some gave $500, some gave $200. I really want to appreciate your generous gesture towards this revolution. You are not giving to me. You are giving for this revolution. Now let me clarify one thing here. Somebody came out the other day and said that money is coming to Secretary Chris' private account. Absolutely not, ladies and gentlemen. I have not seen a dime. A dime of all the incoming donation hasn't touched my hands. Do I manage it? Absolutely, you are sure of that, because I am head of this department. Have I touched it? Have I seen it? I have not, but I know the figures. This is how we do it here. This is how transparent we do it here in this department. I spoke with the treasurer of the interim government, and the treasurer gave us in the department the go-ahead to create a bank account for ABC. A bank account has been created for ABC. And so every donation coming in through through Cash App, PayPal, and whatever, any other means, goes into that account. It doesn't come to me. and nobody has paid a dime to me. If you have paid a dime to me, well, you let these people know. But again, I have not collected a dime. All the money goes to the management of ABC. They are taking care of that. So, but again, I want to appreciate you. I want to appreciate all your donations. We have raised, I think, just about $8,000 around that at this moment. We still need a lot of finances to cover to cover January and February. Please, if you promise to donate, if you promise to give, do not relent. Do not give up. We need your support to sustain and make this television station what it should be. Again, I'm pleading with you. Go ahead and keep on making your donations. Somebody please, ABC staff, I know there are some of you who are watching right now. Can you go ahead and put up the Cash App number and the PayPal email? I know the PayPal email is, I think it has changed anyway. But please, ABC staff, if you are watching, go ahead and put up the Cash App number and the PayPal number for people to donate. Just put all the links, or put all the links on the platform for others to see, please. Again, thank you so very much for your donations. We look forward to you doing more. And I want to remind those in the DC area, I am coming out there March the 8th, with a very, very, very one-of-a-kind town hall with Ambassador Fosun and others, March 8th, Friday, March the 8th. That details shall be put up very, very soon. So please, if you live in the DC, Maryland area, mark the date, March 8th, Friday, March the 8th, for a very, very special town hall coming to you in Maryland. It will be a live television event. Now, admission is by registration only, and that space would sit only 100 people. So the first 100 people to register when registration begins shall be the ones to gain admission into that hall. Again, I just wanted to make those quick announcements. Right now, I would like to come to you with this presentation proper. Thank you for tuning in. I want to appreciate those of you who are coming in, joining from ground zero. I want you to know, without you, we will not be where we are today in this revolution. I also want to thank every Ambazonian restoration force everywhere on ground zero. And thank especially those of you who continue to give relentlessly to support our boys on ground zero. May God bless you. May God continue to give to you. May God enable you to continue to receive so you can continue to pay for this revolution. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, fellow Ambazonians. A week ago, I came to you with a not so good state of the interim government report. I spoke of attempts by a handful of dubious, sneaky, and anti-interim government, anti-revolution detractors to sway our leaders in jail into embarking on ill-informed judgments and positions on the struggle from behind bars. I equally brought to the fore the poor financial state of the interim government, the lack of transparency and accountability on the part of the finance secretary, and his indisposition to submit to an audit. I did not mince words over the fact that your interim government must with urgency arrest that situation and restore confidence in our donors, failing which the revolution may just be over without funds coming in as people stop to donate. I stated that the only way to rebuild that confidence in our donors is by ensuring that the Finance Secretary submits to already overdue audits. Today, I am excited to report to you that, as I speak, the audit has started and could actually be completed in a few days from today. Ladies and gentlemen, once the audit is completed, the report shall be submitted to Cabinet and the Restoration Council for endorsement. The acting president shall only then address some of the issues raised in finance management in this interim government. Ladies and gentlemen, why we wait for the audit report to be published? For now, I'd like to revisit rather briefly, very briefly, the outing of the Finance Secretary on television the other day. I have indeed meditated on not talking about it at all, but at a second thought, I concluded that it is good Ambazonians have a feel of the disingenuousness leading the revolution. I had planned to respond point by point to Mr. Secretary, but realized after a few days that Ambazonians on their own, already decipher the dubiousness in that presentation. I have no much time for the kind of half-truths you hear only in palm wine clubs. To leave important and urgent revolution matters, to respond point by point to the many fabrications presented to you in that manufactured presentation. That said, I would like to bring you clarity on 2 points. 2 points only in the entire fabrication and misrepresentations. In clarifying just these 2 points, it is my intention to expose to you the smear from the Finance Secretary and his inability to present records and put them in the right perspective. The Secretary literally swore to you, for instance, that he knows nobody in Cabinet with shares in SCBC. He wasn't telling you the truth. He wasn't being honest. His own undersecretary, his assistant secretary, the assistant finance secretary, to his credit, has actually recused himself on discussions involving SCBC, confessing that he bought a small investment in the form of shares in SCBC. So yes, indeed, the Finance Secretary wasn't being truthful when he stated that nobody in Cabinet owns shares in SCBC. I won't go anymore into that, but the point is made. But what we should get from this is that there is every concerted effort by some people within the Cabinet to pull down ABC because of economic interest. That's all what it is. The last point I would like to touch on, and we'll end there, has to do with the $12,900 monthly budget that the Secretary stated he couldn't pay for ABC television. He stated that the amount, $12,900, was too much for him to pay, and that in the amount, yours truly was demanding $3,500 for salaries to ABC workers. What the Secretary did not tell you is that He had no problem at all paying SCBC workers' salaries from the very day SCBC came into being. Was still doing so to build a private business. But when it came to ABC, Ambazonia's own television, he expected the volunteers to work for nothing. Yes, indeed, ABC monthly budget is $12,900, ladies and gentlemen. But you know what? SCBC was demanding a monthly budget before cabinet severed ties with it to the tune of $18,500. And in that budget, the bulk of it was salaries. That is what the secretary didn't tell you. Yes, about the $3,500, we had a meeting in the communications department and agreed that for ABC technical operations and news team to be able to function smoothly, that the expert who runs the operations almost 24/7 be compensated with $2,000 a month. So he doesn't have to be hustling between ABC and a regular job. The other $1,500 was to go to about 10 or 11 other volunteers on ground zero and ground one who needed data on a regular basis in their gadgets to send news items to the news team. These are some of the details that the foxy secretary didn't give you. He just wanted you to believe that Secretary Chris wanted the money for himself, or that Secretary Chris was asking for it as payment for himself. I won't want to go any further into any of those carefully manufactured fabrications. But these tools should be enough to tell you we are dealing with a man with very questionable integrity. But of course, not surprisingly, he failed to touch on the one thing demanded of him: the finance accountability that everyone expected to hear from him. You will think that when he goes on television, instead of going on Facebook, which according to him we ought to be using, that he will talk about the audit accusations, and why his department has until now refused to turn over bank records of the interim government to the Director of Treasury. No, he didn't answer those questions. He made an overstatement that the records have been transferred, presenting some frivolous screenshots, but without telling you, the people of Ambazonia, that log in once, that the people were able to log in once, but they were not able to log in a second time to access the accounts, and he did not cooperate to get those accounts logged in. So do not be deceived by the screenshots that you saw showing some login information to those bank accounts. The people were able to log in once. When you live in the USA and somebody has to log into your account from London or from Belgium or from Germany, your banking system would not allow that person to log in with a different IP address. Or if you succeed to log in with a different IP address from a different geographical location, you may not be able to log in the next time. So what you saw as login screens in those presentations, they were a one-time login time. He was supposed to cooperate with those auditors until everything was done. He did not do it. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are donors to the struggle through this interim government, let me assure you that so long as I remain part of this arrangement, rest assured that those audits will be done. And the accounts involving all online transactions and bank records will be transferred to the office of the Director of the Treasury of your interim government. This government can no longer operate with one man being the accountant, the finance secretary, and the treasurer all playing those roles. Under the present system, nobody is sure of how much comes in, and nobody is sure of how much goes out and to who it goes to. Thousands of people, for instance, have continued up to today to demand for mere receipts for my trip to Biya payments, and they cannot get it. Isn't it possible that someone is deliberately not wanting to account for all that money? It will surprise you that since the finance secretary came out to present his high-sounding empty report, that one more interim government member has resigned, agitating in his resignation letter that the finance secretary ought to have been fired a long time ago. We cannot continue in this year, just as in 2017 and 2018, when funds were mismanaged and embezzled through SCAPAC, and complaints were swept under the table. 2019 is a year of total transparency and accountability in this government. This interim government listens to your complaints about money and other issues too. And we are about making sure that 2019 is a year of total transparency and accountability from the local government level to the cabinet. Let me make this very clear. You know as well as I do that this interim government hasn't a police force or the FBI before which to drag recalcitrant government members who think they can hold the government hostage. That's why, like my coming public about this subject, in any instance where we are unable to resolve any issues through ethics and the Restoration Council, it will be our responsibility. Again, it will be our responsibility to bring to you, the Ambazonian people, to shame the culprits. Ladies and gentlemen, these financial delinquencies were over 6 months in the making. And since the perpetrators would not submit to cabinet, nor to the ethics committee and the Restoration Council, there was no other choice than to bring it out here. Cabinet has tried and tried and tried. And some people, out of their willingness, decided to hold the entire cabinet and the treasury hostage. We cannot let that happen again. New measures are being taken to make sure it does not happen again. We will keep you up to date as developments or things unfold. It is rather unfortunate that some people misinterpreted my public outrage and may have decided on that account to discontinue with their levy payments. You had every reason to be upset and to withdraw. But please, you got me wrong. That was not my intention. I wanted you to know and be confident that it is a new day and things are being changed, things are being transformed. But we will continue to come to you each time we are stonewalled, as in this case. Ambazonians, together we shall solve all our problems and overcome all dangers against this interim government. I want to assure you once more that 2019 is the year that all Ambazonians will be fully informed, with the good or the bad, about those who manage their government. The interim government at this very moment needs to move to a very professional level. We ask all Ambazonians to not only contribute financially, but to contribute professionally, so that we can get to Biya faster. The interim government needs your support in all professional walks of life. We need all of your skills now, today, not tomorrow, because the fully liberated Ambazonia that we all dream of will be built by Ambazonians and Ambazonians only. At the height of things, at the apex of the prosecution of this war, I plead with you today, let us all get involved. Let's commit to our local government areas by committing our finances. Country and regional coordinators, newly constituted, need your support so they too can support the interim government. The brave and courageous restoration fighters all look up to us for our support in the diaspora to defend our country. We are getting there, and we will get there, God being on our side. And talking about the war, I am excited to report to you today that indeed we have made and continue to make giant strides. We are fighting an enemy that no longer has the morale and the courage to fight. We are fighting an enemy that is wounded, but desperate to see an end to the war, but which cannot do so for the shame and means of surrender. French Cameroon has now exhausted every tactic it had in the book to use to bring us to submission. But unfortunately, the market hasn't been good enough for them. Their bilingualism and multiculturalism commissions have failed. Their disarmament commission has failed also. Their lobbyists in Europe and America are failing to win the most needed international support that they need to survive this conflict. And above all, their military has equally failed to subdue our spirited restoration forces. In their country, supporters of Maurice Kamto are rising up by their numbers and demanding that their leader be given the election he was the rightful winner. French Cameroon is now literally on her knees, begging the United Nations to send a disarmament force into Ambazonia. To force the United Nations to quickly consider the appeal, French Cameroon troops have been given special instructions to carry out indiscriminate pogroms, massacres, call it genocide, in our territory and on our people. Their wisdom is that if they should kill our people in the thousands, we will carry the carnage on social media. The world will be appalled, and the United Nations will be forced to come in and provide a buffer zone. Fellow Ambazonians, if you are on ground zero, this calls for special vigilance. Stay awake. The days ahead are pregnant and dire. French Cameroon has planned to decimate anything male and female in Ambazonia, for the United Nations to come in and provide a buffer zone for our population. It should not surprise you why churches, schools, and hospitals are being razed on a daily basis now. Last Saturday, almost all of Biya, over 200 homes in Kumbo were burned to ashes with people burnt alive in those homes. Hospitals and schools have been set on fire. Where they are not set on fire, the structures and equipment are destroyed, and patients sent running hopelessly to nowhere. Sorry, I cannot tell you that this is ending soon. I can only tell you that French Cameroon is desperate, and you have to do everything within your means to defend yourself and to support our restoration forces. One thing is sure: we will not allow the United Nations troops to be forced on the southern Cameroon's people and territory. This interim government will not. At this moment, fellow Ambazonians, we do not want the United Nations forces to come and pacify us and eventually hand us over back to French Cameroon as in 1961. The United Nations forces will only be allowed to send troops to our territory on 3 conditions. Number 1, if they are coming to enforce United Nations Resolution 1608. Or number 2, they are coming to organize and supervise a referendum. And number 3, or they are coming to facilitate inclusive negotiations between the 2 countries. Nothing more or less than this. We should not forget that the United Nations forces have been in the Congo Democratic Republic for years, and what it has done is only pacify the people, and the killing goes on. They have been in the Central African Republic for years also, and have only pacified the people. Should we allow the United Nations enter Ambazonia territory, their forces I mean, it will only take a matter of time for French Cameroon to resume her colonial hegemony over our people and our territory. The United Nations must therefore come in with immediate solutions or stay away and allow us to decide our destiny. God has seen us thus far, and He will not let us down. All this bloodletting shall never be in vain, and we shall never sign any treaty with French Cameroon until they have committed to paying the last dime for every school, church, hospital, and homes their soldiers have taken down in fire in our territory. Let us all remain strong and steadfast. Victory is sure. If God be for us, no one can be against us. Long live the Federal Republic of Ambazonia. Short live the revolution. And ladies and gentlemen, having said that, I will now bring you this very important security alert that I promised bringing to you today. And having said this, I want to end the presentation with this high security alert. You are aware that the interim government has refused to be part of the conference planned by certain Ambazonians in Philadelphia coming up next week. The interim government refuses to attend and to endorse it because we are unable to figure out who are the reorganizers and sponsors of the conference. Everything about the conference seems to be shrouded in secrecy. However, we have learned over the past months how much money is being invested in its planning. From within $30,000 to $200,000. Some 150 delegates, we are told, shall be flown in from all over the world to be in attendance. And we have asked who they are, where they are coming from, and how they were constituted, and have not received the answers either. The overwhelming majority of country and regional coordinators who were initially drafted into the idea of the conference have since pulled out, and the Restoration Council has spoken out its own concerns about the conference. But the question as to who is funding the conference to the tune of over $100,000 at a moment, at a time when our ground forces are desperately in need of AKs, is very, very insensitive and remain a thing of big concern to the interim government. Until recently, we began to get fetus that some other powers may be behind the conference. Those fears have now come to resonate in us after sources close to the interim government met with some 5 military personnel from Cameroon visiting the U.S., allegedly to attend the Philadelphia conference. The 5 of them, led by the man whose image is now all over the social media, one Colonel Bancoy, arrived the USA on January 30th through Washington Dulles International Airport. They were destined, he and the 4 others were destined for Philadelphia, precisely in a small town called Erie, through Chicago O'Hare Airport. But because of a weather storm, their Chicago flight was canceled, and they were routed on January 31st to St. Paul's International Airport in Minnesota. They arrived Cleveland as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, boarded a taxi at the airport to Philadelphia. At the airport, they met with a driver who introduced himself as a Nigerian. He drove them to Philadelphia, and even though they had told him in broken language or English that they were going to General Electric, GE, the driver overheard them behind the seat in French talking about APNC conference coming up in 2 weeks. Remember, that was on January 31st. Colonel Bancoy was leader of the team. His photo and one other person among the 5 were taken and forwarded to us. I have actually been in possession of the photos for over 2 weeks. 2 weeks, as it really didn't mean anything to me. However, when the social media photo of Colonel Bancoy started making the rounds, with allegations that he and 5 others were in the USA to track down Ambazonian leaders, I thought to compare his looks in that social media photo to the photos from Philadelphia, and behold, it turned out that he is indeed the one. In Philadelphia, we learn they behave in a very suspicious manner. The driver took them to GE, General Electric, where they said they were going. But they quickly left General Electric, asking that the driver takes them to the hotel. They stopped, on the way to the hotel, they stopped at an ATM machine to withdraw funds to pay the driver. And they had one single bank card. And they didn't even know how to use the ATM machine. They don't even have an idea how much money is in their card. Colonel Bancoy, the leader of the team, looked surprised when he is told that the balance from the withdrawal or in the card was or is $26,000 for the 5 of them and for their duration in the U.S. Colonel Bancoy and his team are still in Philadelphia as I speak. Whatever connections they have or are having with the conference, Ambazonians, go there at your own choice. You can sleep in peace knowing that no member of your interim government is going there except on their own accord. Putting out this information, you may be wondering, why is it necessary? It is necessary because if we do not do so now, and only come to do that after, when something happens or something bad happens, we shall be blamed for knowing it and not alerting the public. Now you know it. You make your choice. We recall that a similar meeting took place in Naira Hotel, Abuja, Nigeria in 2018. People were paid air tickets to fly to Nigeria for it. And up to today, and not even our leaders in jail have told anyone who paid for Naira Hotel meeting. Count the IG out of this one. Ladies and gentlemen, it was my plan to bring you the photographs of these from Philadelphia, of this Cameroon military in Philadelphia, but I couldn't get it on the screen. But this is what I'm going to do, because I do not want anybody to for a moment think that this is some fabrication. I have the photographs. The moment I come out of here, out of this set, well, we get those photographs on ABC Facebook. You will look at that original photograph of Colonel Bankoi in his uniform circulating on Facebook, and the photos of two others that were taken while we met them in Philadelphia. Now, we could not take all the 5 of them because this guy was struggling, was sneaking to get those photographs, and got only 2 of them. But it is clear there were 5 of them. And in French, believing that the driver did not understand French, they were conversing among themselves about the conference coming up. And again, I have had these photographs for over 2 weeks running. I just never thought they meant anything. I didn't take the story seriously until I saw the photograph of Colonel Bankoi making the rounds on social media, and I went and compared the faces to realize he is indeed the one I had in my possession. Again, I hope that this information is vital to somebody. The choice, whatever you decide to do, is your choice to make. It is my choice. It is our right to make sure Ambazonians are safe and protected out there. Thank you for tuning in today. God bless you. God bless Ambazonia.
Religion.